I'm going to go over 5 things that if you're a wedding couple or if you're a wedding vendor, you must do or have before the wedding. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, my name's Chad Muncie. Thanks for tuning in to Grow My Officiant Business. If you're a wedding couple or if you're a wedding vendor, you want to listen to this episode because I am going to go in depth and give you 5 things that you have to have or you have to do before the wedding to have a successful and beautiful wedding ceremony. I've seen it hundreds of times where I show up to a wedding ceremony. I'm early. I'm plenty enough time to get everything that I need to get done before the wedding and for it to be great. However, the photographer is not there yet. The DJ is running around trying to figure things out. He's trying to find me to mic me up. I don't know where to find him at, so we meet up at the very last minute. I see the wedding planner running around trying to find certain people. Things are very unorganized. They're trying to call the caterer to find out why they're late. And then I look at the wedding couple and they're just as confused and annoyed as I am. So this is an important episode because it's going to tell you these 5 things. These are the top 5 things that I've seen that can change all of that and can help the entire wedding party know where to be, when to be there, all of the vendors so that they know where to be, when to be there, and so that everybody can have a successful wedding ceremony. So let's get into it. Number 1 is a cheat sheet, basically an understanding of who is going to be where and how they're going to get there. It is a cheat sheet that says the event, the time, and the responsibility. Ultimately, this is called an itinerary, and most of the time for weddings, we're very good about getting that for the guests. However, I am urging you as the wedding couple to either hire a wedding planner who will do this or do it for yourself. Have a cheat sheet for your wedding vendors. There should be a cheat sheet, and it doesn't have to be lengthy, but there should be a cheat sheet for each wedding vendor. And it should go over their responsibilities, where you expect them to be, when you expect them to be there, and any important details. For instance, as a wedding officiant, I want to know what time you want me there, who I should meet. Should I meet the planner to get the license? Where am I going to get the license? And who is going to mic me up? Am I going to have a mic? The certain details that I need to know to do my job successfully. I need a cheat sheet. Now, I'm not saying you have to have a cheat sheet for every single person if you've gone over those details ahead of time, but make sure you have a cheat sheet for the vendors that things could get confusing. At least have some kind of sheet or email that you've emailed them with an itinerary. I call a cheat sheet because an itinerary is for the guests, but at least have a cheat sheet you've emailed them for each specific time that is important, when things are supposed to happen, and the important moments. And your wedding planner will be able to do a lot of that work. I would talk to the wedding planner and say, what do you have that will ensure that everyone is there on time? And once you're confident they'll take care of it, then take care of it. If it's a smaller wedding, it's super easy to make a cheat sheet for the few vendors that you're using. But that way, everyone will know when to be there, what to do, and any other important details. Number 2, pay ahead. Some of you aren't going to have a hard time with this, but some of you are. And if you're a vendor listening to me, if you're an officiant, or heck, even if you're a photographer, videographer, DJ, catering company, make sure you ask for them to pay ahead. That's not something you want to take care of on the wedding day. That's not something you want to have to worry about. It's not something anybody should have to spend their time doing. They should focus on their task. They should focus on their job, the times they're going to begin their job, and carrying out that job extremely well and professionally. So make sure if you're the couple, you pay ahead. If the person doesn't ask you to pay ahead, say, hey, we're going to get all this taken care of. And a big item that I've been asked about a lot is tips. Should we tip? Yes, you can tip. Now, it is not standard in every category. As an officiant, I get tipped probably 40 to 60% of the time. It just depends on the type of ceremony and how much stuff I'm doing for the couple. But if you're going to tip, add the tip in ahead. Go ahead and decide and say, hey, this guy's got incredible reviews. I think we're going to be really satisfied. I'd like to tip him. So add, if your tip's $10, if your tip's $100, add it in there beforehand. Ask them if they can add it to the balance and then carry it out that way. Completely pay your balance off ahead of time. Have an introductory meeting with each vendor. Now, some vendors you might not need to meet face-to-face, and you might not want to meet all of them face-to-face. But if I was having a wedding and I had a vendor, even if it's just the florist arranging the flowers, I would like to set up a 3 to 5 minute phone call to talk to the florist and say, this is what I'm envisioning. I just wanted to share my vision with you and say that I appreciate you working on this for my wedding, and just have a quick face-to-face introductory call. I know it's not standard for every single vendor you hire, but it sure does help. It helps you build a relationship. It helps you as the couple feel comfortable that that vendor has a personality that you like, especially if they're a DJ or someone or an officiant. And it helps you feel comfortable the day of the wedding, not having to stress about, is that person going to show up on time? Am I confident that I actually liked that person? You'll know all that stuff ahead. And as a vendor, if you are a vendor listening to my voice, please make sure you have an introductory call. I teach all of my students that the first thing you should do after a couple inquires with you, sends in an inquiry, or calls you and leaves you a message is you should call back, set up a date, have an introductory call, and that way the couple will know they want to choose you. Set up an introductory call. Now, if you're a couple, you're like, well, a questionnaire. I mean, I know I fill that out. The vendor sends me the questionnaire and I fill it out, or they send me something and I fill it out and get it back to them. But do I need to have a questionnaire? Well, the short answer is yes. You need to have a questionnaire. You need to have a baseline questionnaire to make sure that the vendors you're hiring are legally able to perform those services, to make sure that they have great reviews, and to get some referrals from each vendor. If I am planning a wedding, I want to make sure every vendor is up to par with my standard and is professional. So my checklist is probably going to be 3 or 4 items. I want their contact, their names. I want to see the reviews. I want the information for their website, their online things. I want to see some referrals. I want to have some numbers or a number of some people I can call to check and see how they like their services. And then fifth, you might want to check the legality, especially if it's a food service or something like that. Are they legal? Do they have any insurance? Certain questions like that. So have a baseline questionnaire that you can ask every vendor. If you're a vendor listening to me, have a questionnaire that you send to the couple. And you should already have this set up. If you don't, at least have a baseline questionnaire that fills out some of the questions that you're going to ask them or the information that you're going to need to know. Have them double verify the date and the time and have all that stuff written down by them in a questionnaire form so that you know the answers and you don't have to bug them to death. Those are the 4 uh, biggest topics, biggest needs that I see for people to do and things that they miss. If you do those, you're covering your bases, you're building a good foundation, but these are the must-do items if you're a couple, if you're a vendor, to have a successful wedding ceremony. Thank you for listening to this short episode of Grow My Officiant Business. Please, if you got any useful information out of this, subscribe, rate me, comment underneath. Please reach out to me at chad@growmyofficiantbusiness.com, and I'll be happy to have you on an episode or answer your questions. Have a wonderful rest of your day.